Hello, everybody, and guess what? I can never get tired of listening to My Generation by OnLap, not just because it's the theme to this show, but because that song just kicks some serious ass. And we're ready to kick some serious ass with season number 2. It's Beats and Beatdowns. I'm Bobby Munson, and right beside me, the music man, Carl Carafel. How you doing, sir?
Dude, I am so well right now. Very happy to be back doing this. And yeah, I'm excited because season 2 has so many different artists in it with complete different genre between the really big mix of all of them. So it's going to be really interesting. And that's what I'm happy about.
Yeah, and season 2 is all about change. That's for sure. We kind of just we really threw some things at the wall with this one. Really contemplated who we should pick, and we wanted to go a little against the grain. We sided with a lot of things we're very favorable to last season, with a couple of toss-ins there that maybe aren't so much our thing all the time. This season, we're all over the place. We're going to really show you the in-depth side of Bobby and Carl when it comes to music this year. But damn, we're excited. But speaking about change, Carl, compared to last year, we are on a different platform. So not only are we still on Turnbuckle Studios, which glad to be able to partner with you and Turnbuckle Studios, one of the greatest long-lasting podcasts in the industry today. But now, welcome to Ole, where is our new home as well too. Very glad to be bringing Beats and Beatdown season number 2 right here to Ole. Carl, this is exciting, guys.
It definitely is. And what's exciting as well is I do believe that if you want to, you can even have this all over on Ring Respect Radio too, on that YouTube channel, if you so choose.
Well, I think we might just have to put it over there too. Give everybody the opportunity to discover Beats and Beatdowns, because if there's one thing that was consistent from hearing from people that checked out season 1, was that they truly believe this show is onto something, that we really have something going here. And that makes my belief stronger that we're onto the right thing, and very excited about what we bring to the table this season for everybody. And, there's lots to talk about. And again, we contemplated how to do this. Like last season, we went live with our finale, and that was a big, massive success. Really enjoyed that opportunity. So we said, we got to throw that in one more time, because the stars don't always align to be able to get together for a live show. But damn it, we're going to make it happen. And we're going to bring a very special guest with us. Somebody who also time constricting to get him on main streams with us and everything like that. But we've worked out a very special deal with somebody, and we'll get to there, and we'll announce it at the time. But we got a big show in store for the finale with a special guest. Very excited about that. But it's time to get started with Beats and Beatdown season 2.
Yes.
And that means we're on the letter K. For anybody who didn't see season 1, you're tuning in for the very first time. What we're doing, we're taking, first of all, a journey from A to Z, because we're Canadian. On this journey, we're going letter by letter to choose an artist that had some sort of influence on professional wrestling. And today, we're on the letter K, because that's where we ended up at the end of last season. And K is going to be for, his name is Kid Rock.
Dude, Kid Rock is one of those guys that has transcended all different areas and genres, whether it is rock music, whether it is into country music, whether it is into gospel music as well. He's really had his hand in a lot of different areas when it comes to music. And yeah, I guess I'll just throw it out there. Robert James Ritchie is the actual name of Kid Rock that a lot of people don't know. It's out there. It's widely out there, available for people to know, but not a lot of people have really taken the time to look for it. But yeah, his name is Robert.
Yeah. And with that, he also had a different moniker before getting known to be Kid Rock. And I'm kind of thinking I might want to steal this one from him. I love this. How about this? Bobby Shazam. I like the sound of it, right? Like, I mean, it fits me well. Bobby Shazam. I think it's got some style to it.
It does. It's got that little bit of a punch, which is amazing.
We're all about Beats and Beatdowns here. So, I mean, Bobby Shazam coming in, throwing a right hook. I like the sounds of it. The thing about Kid Rock too is like sometimes underappreciated, and he was this way his whole career, because when he first started out, he wanted to be kind of into rap music a little bit, kind of into country music a little bit, but he never fit one particular genre. He was too rap for the rock crowd, too rock for the rap crowd, too country for either one of them, and it never really came together until a little album of his known as Devil Without a Cause, which dropped in the later half of the 1990s. And man, did it drop at the right time, right place, and made him a massive star overnight. I remember, and it was for me, I heard Bawataba the first time, and right away I was like, damn, that's a song I can go get in a mosh pit to. This is a fun ass song, and I want to know more about Kid Rock in the process of hearing this.
And that song is even a staple that's still played today. If you go to clubs, they're going to play that at some point. If you're at a wedding or just a area of people gathering together, that just seems to be a song that really pumps people up and gets people out onto the dance floor. And it just works. And it's, it's a timeless classic at this point.
Yeah, and not the only track from there, too, because a lot of people, especially the casual listening fans, maybe not so inclined to listen to a song such as that, but then a hit like Cowboy comes along, and that was massively commercially successful for Kid Rock. This one really propelled him to a whole other level, making Devil Without a Cause a multi-platinum selling record, making him the star that he is. This song, even today, on the toughest of radio stations, is still playing it like it's a brand new hit.
Yeah. They definitely are, and it's just interesting that a song like that can go generationally, right? Because we're in 2022 now, so generationally, this song just continues and continues to be played and continues to be reheard or even heard for the first time by people, to be able to connect with and really still be something, which is hard to do in the music industry. It's hard to really have that song or couple of songs that continue on throughout the entire thing, right? So and kudos to him for that.
For all the crap he has taken from people, there are a lot of people very critical of him, the person, sometimes, and I get it. I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
But it goes with the territory. He has created a lot of successes, and, it showed even after Devil Without a Cause. Well, no album individually ever met the success of Devil Without a Cause. Some of the hits that he came out with afterwards sure did, including one that ties into the theme of our whole Beats and Beatdown shows. I'm talking about the one known as American Badass. And this song is so notable in the world of professional wrestling because utilized really the only other theme song utilized by the dead man, The Undertaker, in his tenure with the WWE. And it became synonymous with the whole character turn of the American Badass, which a lot of people are still very, very fond of. I mean, we love Dead Man Taker. Everybody loves Dead Man Taker. But nobody hated the American Badass by any means, and you sure weren't going to tell him to his face.
Definitely not. Definitely not. And that whole character change was something very, very different and very interesting to happen that still really encapsulated who the Undertaker was, but maybe brought it a little bit more mainstream, I guess you could say, or maybe a little bit more humanized even, which was very different at that time, but very well received, like you said. And I mean, like, American Badass, it embodied who the Undertaker was as a person, maybe not necessarily as the character, but as a person. It totally embodied what the Undertaker it embodied what the Undertaker still is, and he definitely is an American badass. It fits so well, and it just worked so perfectly. And I like to think that because of the Undertaker is the reason why that song became so famous.
It's you're not entirely wrong. I know the song was a success, but because of the Undertaker, it grew to a popularity beyond, I'm sure, what it would have on radio stations at the time. I know a lot of people were also critical of its use of a Metallica tune inside there as well too. However, I say if you can use somebody else's stuff in a homage, and I'm going to call it an homage, Kid Rock has managed to do that a couple of times now. He's done that both with American Badass and also with All Summer Long. And I'm not critical of either one of those tracks. I think that he does it in a beautiful way where he respects the material that it comes from, and he is a fan of the material where it comes from. And when you can do that right, you can feel it in the song. And I know that those two songs connect in that way. And yeah, again, with The Undertaker, again, if that song wouldn't have been right for The Undertaker, it wouldn't have worked. And Undertaker made that song that much better at the same time. And we're always going to remember him for it.
We definitely are. And it's interesting because American Badass is quite the rock type of song. Whereas, like All Summer Long is kind of more around the time when Rock and Roll Jesus kind of came out, and he was doing more like country rock. So it's weird that he was able to take those different styles and so that the two best selling singles overall for Kid Rock were Picture from 2002
Great tune.
And All Summer Long from 2008. So for that song to be just like one of the best selling, and for it to be from his like country rock era of himself, but yet still you've got like American Badass and Ba 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 that are like rock music, but kind of loved by all the exact same people. Like it blows my mind. It blows my freaking mind.
It shows the true diversity of a strong music fan, somebody that can accept different genres of music and stuff like that. And when you see somebody that can toe the line between the different ones and show a different side of themselves, it's fantastic to see. You mentioned Picture that he does with Sheryl Crow, a great collaboration. Yeah. And absolutely love sitting down sometimes on a weekend with the wife and turning on a song, and we'll sing a little duet together. Picture is one of our definite go-to songs, but just because it's fun to sing, it's a beautifully crafted song. And Sheryl Crow, although not having a connection to pro wrestling that I'm aware of at this moment, definitely deserves a shout out, because she has left us with a lot of amazing tracks over the years.
She definitely has. I will listen to Picture any day of the week over Nickel Crap's Photograph.
There you go. And I'm with you on that one. and their new song could go to hell too.
Yes, it can. Yes.
I'm at this point, I'm pretty sure the only people keeping Nickelback are alive are anybody but Canadians.
Yeah. I think it's all like European countries now that are maybe keeping them alive. That's about it.
Good for them. Keep them there. But it's not just The Undertaker that got to have a featured song from Kid Rock and his connection to pro wrestling. Stacy Keibler also as well too, with a cover song of the ZZ Top hit "Legs," used as her theme music within WWE.
And it's great that Kid Rock is able to do themes for men and women as well, because you don't hear that a lot. You really don't. And when it comes to the female superstars within the company of the WWE, normally their songs are done by a female artist, or they're just some generic thing that was put together by whoever is doing the music at the time. You really didn't see a lot of like mainstream male artists doing the music for the females at that time. And I thought that it was a really great way to do it, especially because they already had that working relationship with Kid Rock. Kid Rock is a fan of professional wrestling. He's come out and said that he's a fan of professional wrestling himself. So to have him be able to do a cover song, it was probably a lot easier for the WWE to kind of be like, hey, we'll give you free tickets to like a couple WrestleManias and give you, like $100,000, and we'll just call it even for letting us use this type of thing, as opposed to having to go to ZZ Top and maybe having to pay them a royalty for every single time that is used on their programming, right? So it was a smart business decision on the WWE's part to capitalize on somebody that's already there or that they've worked with to do this cover song for them.
Yeah, and it worked. It was impactful. It really, really stood out from the pack, and I think I mean, probably one of the reasons that Stacy Keibler stood out. I'm sure some people argue there's other reasons. I'm sure we'll hear about it.
Yep.
But please do explain, what were the other reasons that made her stick? We'd love to hear that right in the comment section down below. Let us know what you thought of Stacy Keibler. But that being said, you've really made it with your connection to pro wrestling when you've been asked to be the official theme song of a WrestleMania. And this, I mean, there's only so many WrestleManias, but Kid Rock has that stamped on his resume. He has had other pay-per-views as well, too, but in particular, WrestleMania 34, where the song Celebrate was used as the official theme music for that year.
And that is probably one of the highest honors as a musician within the world of professional wrestling that you can have, is to be able to either have your theme song or your song as the theme for the entire show, or to be able to play on stage at WrestleMania. So for him to be able to do this, unbelievably, undeniably fantastic. It's an honor that he's able to do that, and that people resonated with it, right? I mean, like, you can definitely get some people and some different acts that are there that people just, I'll plainly say it, they don't give a shit about. But Kid Rock was not one of them. He was always loved and well received by not only the workers, but by the fans that were there as well. Insane.
Yeah. And because of this, they bestowed upon him an entry into the WWE Hall of Fame, the Celebrity Wing, in 2018. They saw the commitment that he had given them, all the music that he had provided, the connection that he had with their company. And because of this, they decided to honor him by bringing him into that Celebrity Wing. Again, a lot of people made fun of it. Make that argument that you don't need a celebrity wing. It's not pro wrestling, whatever you say. They do what they do, accept it. It's the way it is. If you don't want to watch it, fine, don't watch it. It's not a big deal. But regardless of all that, Kid Rock is in the WWE Hall of Fame, and he's done nothing to give anybody any reason that he should be taken out of it, despite, his, not so perfect lifestyle in the background, which definitely was on display recently at a WWE and maybe independent show as well, too. I know what we watched that Ric Flair's last match card and witnessed it, and I know we individually saw a SummerSlam where he was seen with Trailer Trash Tammy. I believe name there, and some maybe a little bit more than awkward moments that occurred during those two appearances on television over that weekend.
Oh, yes. I mean, we're not going to really get into too much of it, but I mean, Kid Rock is not shy to the controversy of just, I don't even know, like, pop culture, I guess. Definitely is not. And it's like he doesn't shy away from it either, right? Which I wouldn't expect him to. Whether somebody's talking about you in a positive light or a negative light, publicity is publicity. Right, so I think he very smart for him to do something like that. Where he kind of maybe has that little bit of controversy going on, but as Eric Bischoff said, controversy creates cash. So
yeah, and I mean they definitely did back in the late '90s, early 2000s, and again today, Kid Rock still puts out albums. He's still a big selling artist. He's still making a lot of money, and even went back more so to his roots with his most recent release as well too, and really showed that he can he can really go back to what made him famous in the first place, and it shined through. It definitely is. He hasn't missed a beat along this career of his so far.
He definitely hasn't, which is great. I mean, there's a lot of artists that they'll get in, 6 albums and then they're just kind of burnt out and they're like, no, I can't take the tours anymore. The stage shows are starting to get to me. I'm getting old. And even though he is getting old, it really doesn't feel as though he has like really lost a beat at all, right? Like born in 1971. So you know, like he's 51 years old, but he's still continuing on, and it's great to see. It really is. And from what I have seen from some like YouTube videos and stuff, he really hasn't slowed down either too much. I mean, he has a little bit, but not too much, which is phenomenal because I mean I'm 41 years old, and if I can have the same type of energy that he does at 51, I will be freaking happy.
Yeah, me too. And as I crawl closer to 40 by each waking day, I kind of feel the exact same way. Like I see these people and it's like, damn, they've got that kind of energy, and it's inspirational kind of thing. It's like
Oh yeah.
I watched when they had the energy back when I was a teenager, and it seemed to match my energy back then, and they still got some of that spark. And it's like, well, damn it, I could still maybe get some of that spark as well too. But I'm gonna
Right.
go for it.
I definitely am too. Definitely am. So now, did you know that Kid Rock is an entrepreneur as well?
I did read a little bit about this, but elaborate for the people listening. Right?
Well, he's been a successful entrepreneur. I need to make sure that I say that. It's been successful. For starters, Kid Rock is the one that's behind the establishment. Obviously, Kid Rock's Big Ass Honky Tonk Rock and Roll Steakhouse, as well as Badass American Lager. So I think that's really cool. I mean, like he's been able to go and transcend from just being somebody who has done music to now getting into the food and drink business side as well, which is amazing. I mean, he's known for the Made in Detroit restaurant as well. The Made in Detroit restaurant, unfortunately, is closing its doors at the Little Caesars Arena, but there was some controversy that happened behind all of that. But he's putting himself out there. And it's not like he's just taking all of the money that he's made and necessarily wasting it, but he's reinvesting to ensure that he has something for himself for the future, which is amazing.
Is it going to be funny when we end up watching him on an episode of Shark Tank down the road where he's one of the sharks sitting there making decisions on new businesses? I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the guy has been that successful that we could end up seeing something along those lines.
I think we could, and I would welcome it. I definitely would.
And now, one more thing I'll say before I find out if there's anything more you want to add is that his popularity is transcended into like television movies and stuff like that, with an appearance in the movie Joe Dirt, as well as being a guest on The Simpsons, an entire episode that was revolving around spring break where Homer goes down to. He checks out a Kid Rock concert that's down on the beach, and hilarity ensues from there. It's a combination of Kid Rock and his former best friend, partner at his side, Joe C. Rest in peace, Joe C. But yes, it was such a comical episode of The Simpsons. Really, really funny to watch that, especially when they go to tip a 40 for all the homies on the curb, and Homer gets underneath it and starts drinking the beer at that point. I mean,
Right.
I howled, and I loved it that they used Ball Wadaba in there and having everybody rocking down on the beach, because that was the thing you saw at the time that the song was a hit, was a lot of those MTV Much Music beach parties and stuff like that, where you see those rock bands and stuff like that just killing it out on the beach and everybody rocking and rolling for spring break. It was a big thing definitely back then.
100% it was. The only thing that I have to add to that, and for the entirety of this episode here, is that until you have back in the day sang with the Muppets, or until nowadays you've been on The Simpsons, have you really made it?
Yeah, it's true.
I guess Kid Rock has.
That's right. And that's why Bret Hart has made it, because he's also been on The Simpsons.
That's right.
But now we go to the final segment of Beats and Beatdowns on this particular episode, and that's finding out what our favorite song from the artist is. And for this one, I hummed and hawed for quite a while, Carl. I got to tell you. I mean, I did and I didn't, because I have a connection with a lot of different songs of his. I mentioned that, my wife and I like to do duets to picture. Bawadawa was the first song I ever heard of him, which made me buy Devil Without a Cause. We could go down the Undertaker route and how much of a fan I was of the Undertaker, but inevitably, here's how the story goes. Very first time I went out with my wife to somewhere where there was live music and dancing, was in a little place here in Saskatchewan, and the live band there was doing a cover of All Summer Long, and it was officially the first dance that we shared together at that time. So that has forever become our little song and will ever hold a special place in my heart. And for that exact reason, I picked All Summer Long as my favorite Kid Rock song.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, because that means that you have an emotional connection to that, which is something that that everybody needs. Everybody needs to have those emotional connections to a song. Doesn't have to be every song, but if you've got one or two songs that you have that emotional connection to, of course, they're the ones that are going to be the go-to and the ones to stick with. For my song, kind of a newer song that Kid Rock has done. And then we talked about him being born in 1971, him being 51 years old. Okay, so when he turned 50, he did a song. He wrote a song called 50, which I was like, really interesting that, like he turned 50. He's going to put out this song called 50, and he's just talking about kind of everything that's happened, and now this is 50, right? And it really hit me, because I'm like, dude, like, yeah, like when I turn 50, I think I kind of want to feel that exact same way. And that song just not that I'm emotionally invested in it, but it struck a chord with me. It definitely did. And normally I'm going to like obscure songs that like people wouldn't even know that Kid Rock had done, but this one was, I think everybody just really needs to go and listen to this song. You can find it on YouTube, or you can find it on any of your music apps that you've got. It's out there. You can find it. Go find Kid Rock 50.
Yeah, it is actually a very good song, and surprisingly, his most recent releases have actually been pretty good themselves too. So I definitely encourage people to go and give Kid Rock another try if you haven't done so in quite a few years. This has been a great journey, being able to relive through his career, and again, so freaking pumped that we're back with Beats and Beatdowns. Carl, this episode has got me more fired up than even talking about it. And I know we're kind of getting to that mark. It's at the end of the night, so it's time to call her a night on this episode for sure, and get ready for, the next letter, which is the letter L. And this one connects with wrestling quite well, because we have picked Miss Lillian Garcia as the topic for the letter L. And this one's going to be a really, really, really good episode. And she's had such a lasting impact on the professional wrestling industry that I'm very much looking forward to the next episode of Beats and Beatdowns. But in the meantime, and in between time, Mr. Carl, why don't you let everybody know where they're going to be able to find you in the upcoming days?
The easiest thing for you to do to follow me anywhere is check out my link tree. So linktr.ee/Carl Carafel. That's going to be the easiest for you. linktr.ee/Carl Carafel. All of the links are available right there, but I have so much different stuff, not only just Beats and Beatdowns, but I do Turnbuckle Talk on Tuesdays as well. On Mondays, we release as well Paramindful, a new show that I am part of, and I mean, who knows? Who knows? Just make sure that you're following me on those different socials to find out exactly where I'm going to be and what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, first of all, Paramindful, just an absolute mind-blowing, awesome show. A big fan, loved what you guys got going on over there, and just everybody go check that out immediately. As for where you can find me, I'm sure that you've seen some of my stuff pop up once or twice in the past. But as always, you can find me on Thursday nights with Mr. Papa Smokes. We're bringing you all the MLW review action and also interviews with MLW wrestlers as well, too, on a show we like to call Fusion. And right here on Ole podcasts on Friday mornings, we're going to be bringing you new episodes of Ring Respect Radio. You can also find Papa Smokes and myself Saturdays on YouTube at Prairie Pro Wrestling, where we are calling the matches. New match every single Saturday for all you lovely people. And then Sundays, you've got myself and Chris Parrish, my brunch buster brother. We bring you Busted Out with a plethora of wonderful guests. Carl, in fact, you've been on the show. We're looking forward to having you many more times on Busted Out in the future.
I appreciate it. And to all of you, we want to say thank you for coming back for season 2 of Beats and Beatdowns. I know that it was a little bit of a longer hiatus than we had expected, but because of all the network changes and stuff that have happened, we are very thankful to be able to be part of the OLE network, our local establishment. Make sure that you're following them. They are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I believe TikTok, possibly. We've got Twitch as well. Go and find our local establishment at all of those as well.
Our local establishment can be found worldwide and all over the World Wide Web as well. So check us out. We look forward to being able to have you all back next week. For the letter L, for Lillian Garcia, thank you for joining Beats and Beatdowns. We love every single one of you, and have a wonderful day.